So I got a new soap and aftershave review for you guys today. I picked up Tribute from PAA. So if you guys didn't see my unboxing video a week or two ago, I picked up the Tribute set from PAA. So if you pick up the set of the CK6 and the aftershave and not just the soap or the aftershave by itself, and you were one of the first 75 to do so, your set would have come with one of these cool holographic labels. You guys can see that shininess there. And right there is Mr. David Gonzalez, who this soap was made for. So if you guys don't know who David is, you should. So David has been around the traditional shaving scene for quite a while. I think his YouTube channel goes back to like 2014 is when he started putting out YouTube videos. So he's been around quite a while. He was one of the founding members of the Wet Shapers Roundtable, which was kind of a video podcast style kind of roundtable discussion of wet shaving, traditional shaving topics. David is currently the co-host of the Real Talk Instagram live show, which he does with CDB of IMCDB. So that airs on IMCDB's Instagram channel, and CDB usually puts it up on his YouTube channel as well. David's also one of the moderators for the Lather and Blade group on Facebook. And David recently started a podcast called Odelewei with a few of his buddies. It's really good podcast, really good content. So if you guys haven't checked that out, highly suggest that. So like I said, David's been a part of this traditional shaving community for quite a while now. And there was kind of a running joke going because CDB had a couple of shaving soaps named after him, and then the Stallion and a few other people have kind of had these tribute soaps. So it's kind of a running joke is when will David get his tribute soap? So earlier this year, David took matters into his own hands. He had a scent profile that he really wanted to have made. So he teamed up with Douglas Smythe over at Phoenix Artisan Accoutrements, and they came up with this scent profile that David had been looking for, and he made a limited batch for David, and David basically procured that whole batch and sold it on his own to just a handful of his friends. And David jokingly called that soap not a tribute soap.
This is not, and I repeat, this is not a tribute soap.
So I guess the joke's on David because now it is a tribute soap. So let's talk about the soap a little bit. I'm going to read you the description or a bit of the description from the website. An epic and alluring blend of cherry and sandalwood, a rich, deep, woody balsamic accord containing fruity, sweet, and tart accents with naturally occurring nuances of bitter almond. A perfect balance of gourmand and masculine. So what are my thoughts on the soap? So it is a very simple, straightforward scent profile.
Cherry and sandalwood. Two of my favorite things in wet shaving.
With a little bit of hints of that almond marzipan kind of scent that you usually get with a cherry soap or a cherry scent. Now my tub was very sandalwood forward. I did see Silky Creamy's review. If you haven't checked out his channel, I'll link that below. But he actually said that his was far more cherry forward. This particular tub, and I found it kind of the same on the aftershave and the Star Jelly, which I picked up as well, very sandalwood forward to my nose. So I think depending on your nose and how you interpret scents, you might get more of the cherry, you might get more of the sandalwood. Now to my nose, this is a very earthy sandalwood scent. So I kind of classify my sandalwoods in two different categories. There's the earthy notes, and then there's the more kind of cologne-y, I want to say sweeter, but that's probably not the right description. But they're more kind of cologne-like. Something like an Art of Shaving or a Taub sandalwood, those to me tend more towards the kind of cologne. They're not as earthy. So this is a very earthy sandalwood in this soap. Very similar to, I haven't tried Douglas's Supreme Sandalwood Science, but I did try his original sandalwood scents back in the day. Very similar. It's probably the same exact scent oil that he used in those products. So it's very, very earthy. And I will say I actually prefer the more cologne-like sandalwood scents. To me, these earthy sandalwoods, or probably the real sandalwoods, if we're being honest, to me they smell a little dusty is kind of the way I would describe it. They have kind of a dirty note to them that just doesn't agree with my nose personally. So let's start a poll in the comments. Give me your thoughts. Which do you prefer? The earthy sandalwoods or the cologne-y sandalwoods? That's not a word, I just made it up, but that's the best way I have to describe that. So for those of you that love the earthy scents, and I know there are a lot of you out there that prefer these earthy sandalwoods, let's talk a little bit about the soap. So the one I bought is the CK6 formula, which is Phoenix's premium formula. So it's loaded with tons of butters and a couple of oils. So very, very good for your skin ingredients. It is a vegan soap, but regardless of it being a vegan soap or not, I will say the CK6 formula is probably one of my best performers in my den.
You guys know how I feel about the CK6 formula. Look at that. Just creamy goodness. I love the CK6 Lather. One of my top 3 bases.
So as far as cost goes, the CK6 formula, like I said, is their premium formula. So that is $24.95 for a 5-ounce tub, which comes out to $4.99 an ounce, which lands it in the fair category for my price range. Now, it's just barely in the fair category, but if that's a little bit too rich for what you prefer, they do offer this in the CK1 formula, which is also a good soap. I do think this is better, but the CK1 is a good soap as well, and that comes at you for $14.95 for 4 ounces, so a little bit less soap, but cheaper price point. And that one lands solidly in the good price category. Now, the Aftershave Cologne is $24.95 for a 100 milliliter bottle. So it's pretty on par with a lot of the aftershaves. There are a handful of vendors that make them cheaper, but this is pretty standard pricing for 100 milliliters of good aftershave. It is an alcohol aftershave, simple ingredients, but it does have alcohol. It does not dry my skin out, so I don't feel like this one has that particular problem. So Tribute is offered in a bundle. So if you buy for the CK6 only, I didn't see a bundle for the CK1, but if you buy the bundle, you save right about $5 on the total price. So for this combined soap and splash price per ounce, if you buy the bundle, that comes out to $5.36 per ounce, which to me again is a fair price. That's pretty typical of most of the good shaving soaps these days. Like I said, there are a handful of vendors out there that are beating that are making really good soaps at cheaper prices, but this is fair. This is pretty typical. Like I said, I did pick up the Star Jelly as well, so this is offered in both mentholated and non-mentholated version. This is $16.95 for 150 milliliters, but this is one of my favorite types of post-shave. It does have alcohol in it, but it doesn't really feel like a balm. This is a different sort of product. It doesn't leave my skin feeling greasy or oily. It leaves my skin feeling really, really soft and kind of a nice matte, soft finish. And I really enjoy these Star Jellies. So back to the soap. It is a soft soap. So this one I typically use probably around 3/4 teaspoon per shave, which I know some people think is a lot. That's what it takes for me to get the lather that I enjoy using. Now, when I used this soap, I did actually bowl lather it just to kind of get on David's nerves a little bit. So for those of you that don't know, he gives everybody a hard time for bowl lathering. He's a hardcore face latherer, hates bowl lathering, and he thinks all of us should agree with him. Let me know in the comments below. Do you bowl lather? Do you face lather? Do you do a little of both? Curious what you guys think. So like I mentioned, CK6 is one of my favorite performing soaps. Great lather, slickness, density, residual slickness, post-shave feel. It's all there with this soap. It's a really, really good soap base. It is a kind of low density lather is what I would consider it. It doesn't take on a lot of air like some soaps do. So for me, I don't like a ton of volume in my soaps because that means there's a lot of air in there, which takes away from the slickness properties. So it actually generates the type of low density lather that I personally prefer. And CK6 is one of the soap bases that is really, really known for taking a ton of water on. So it's really hard to thin this out or wash it out with too much water. So my summary and my thoughts on the soap and splash. So Tribute, long overdue for David. So congratulations, David, on finally getting your Tribute soap. I know a lot of people are going to love this one. It's just not for me. Like I said, I tend to prefer the cologne-like sandalwoods and not the earthier, natural-smelling sandalwoods, which that's what this one gives you. It gives you that sandalwood, it gives you that cherry, and I think a lot of people are going to like it. So if you are interested in picking it up, I suspect it might be a seasonal. So I don't know how long it's going to be out there. If you're curious, shoot Doug a message on Facebook or Instagram. But if you are interested in picking it up now, I'll have some links in the video description below. As always with Phoenix Artisan Accoutrements, I am an affiliate. So if you decide to use those links, it will help out my channel. It'll help fund some of the giveaways I like doing and some of that stuff as well. So I hope you guys found this little review helpful. I hope you guys, if you decide to pick up Tribute, I hope you love it. Congratulations, David, and thanks, Douglas, for bringing us this soap.